Welcome back to the program. We will be talking about the states of the nation. We're focusing on a couple of issues, from the politics, polity, down to the issue of security, and then maybe if we have time, touch on what's going on with the economy. We've been joined in the program from our Abuja studios by the national chairman of the Young Progressive Party, Bishop Amakri. Bishop Amakri, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Geoffrey and Bukola. Good morning.
All right, so let's begin with the politics, which is your tough as far as the game is concerned. They say politics is a game, but barely few days ago, let's say 3 days ago, because today is Wednesday, we had an announcement of the winner of the election in Ondo State, which is the incumbent, Lucky Ayedatiwa, winning the 18 local government. Record historic win, 300 and something thousand votes, the highest in the last 8 years. So it was a big one, but we understand also that the PDP candidate, Ayola Agbola, will be heading to court, perhaps, at the end of the day. But for those of us who observe the process, sometimes we're not really interested in what the result is, whether it's a general election or it's off-cycle election. We're interested in the process and all of that. I'm sure your party participated. What has been your assessment of that space? Because one of the bigger concerns, which is why we brought you here, is the issue of commercialization of votes. Inducement is a concern to all of us. But maybe your initial assessment before we go to the nitty-gritty.
Thank you so much. Geoffrey, maybe you permit me to just have a 1 minute silent, because as you can see, I'm on black. I'm in a morning state. I'm mourning one of my close ally, best friend, Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyuba. And I've not spoken since after his death. I've been on black all through since last week. So please, just a minute to observe this.
We may not have a minute, but maybe just share your condolences with the family.
You can go on then. Share the condolences with the family, please.
No. I say you can go on to, your condolences to the family.
May his soul rest in peace, and I pray that God will grant him eternal rest.
Amen.
Now, back to the real issue. The truth of the matter is that, Geoffrey, when a country suffers civic orientation, and they are about to wallow in penury, depression, and retrogression, when the people themselves, who are supposed to know the kind of leaders, they should stand firm, okay, to elect them during a process like this, where they will have this only 4 years again before they can get another leadership. And they decide to go to toe the line of inducement. Inducement, when we talk about inducement, nobody is forcing you to take anything from him or her. You have the right of choice, whether to say no or yes. If you bring some amount of money to me today and ask me, please take this money and do otherwise, some of us have been approached in those kind of manner. But we resisted because we wanted something better, something new, something innovative. And it's the same thing that I expect from people who go out to cast their votes during election. I think this overemphasis on INEC not doing the right thing or doing the right thing or whatever, in this case, it's not INEC. INEC at every given point can never support people to go on the day of election when you are to cast your vote. I can't remember when INEC has embarked in that kind of, orientation programs or maybe publicity, telling people to go to the vote and don't worry, just align yourself with people who give you money to vote for them. So in this case, human factor is one of the things we have to deal with in this country. And if we continue to go the same way, without a positive attitudinal change towards how we elect our leaders, of course, obviously, this is what we'll continue to get, for God's sake. So I think, Mr. Geoffrey, one of the major problems that we have in this country, frankly speaking, is that the electorate themselves, maybe I think they are not really yet ready for the real desired change that we need in our society. People continue to tell you there is hunger in the land, and so that now becomes a reason why they will now, submit themselves to inducement. That is not a reason at all. In fact, the fact that you are even going through those pains, is a reason why you should have a retrospect in yourself that, look, I need to do something new, something different. I keep saying this all the time. If people can fast for 30 days or 40 days, is it only one day that you cannot fast to resist the man who is coming to give you 10,000, 20,000, or whatever amount of money he's giving to you to
Bishop Amakri, your point is well noted, but the accusation is that it's politicians like yourself, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the political class, that have, quote and unquote, whether it's a consensus or not deliberately, impoverished the people so that the power to be rational is almost taken away from them, weaponizing poverty. Because we see budgets being proposed, budgets being implemented, and then we don't see the impact of some of these things on the lives of the people. And every election cycle, somehow money comes out to be able to do some of these criminal activities during election. So what do you say to that? Because now you want to blame the people.
I disagree with you. I still maintain my stand that the people have a decision they can take to liberate themselves. It depends on that bold step that they've decided to take. If the politicians are, careless in the way they conduct themselves, or if the politicians are not compassionate about serving the people, then what do you do to pay them back? You pay them back during electioneering period when they are on their knees seeking for your vote. And that's why I gave the illustration about people fast 30 days, people fast 40 days. I've seen a video, on the social media in Ghana where politicians adopted the kind of strategy some of our Nigerian politicians do during election, carrying bag of rice and others, incentives to go and give people. It's also part of inducement. It must not be just only money.
Well,
and these guys rejected those bag of rice. They were throwing it back to the pickup or the vehicle that was carrying that, and was chanting, "We don't need your rice. We don't need your." I mean, I've never seen that kind of reaction or action taken by the Nigerian electorate. And that's what I'm saying. If we continue to lay the blames only on politicians, the politicians don't mind whatever name you call them. Some of the politicians, they don't mind whatever name you call them. All they're after is they want to win their election. And that is why you see people selling properties, doing everything possible to ensure that they win election.
Just to emphasize the point that, when the power of, to be able to be rational, using Jeffrey's words, has been taken away from the people, what option are they left? And the other option of protest also is being eroded gradually, just to make a point about the seeming helplessness of the people. But to piggyback on some of the things that you have said, which is equally important, perhaps it's not about INEC endorsing vote buying in election, but maybe more about INEC in conjunction with other.
And Buhari came with amazing promises that he was going, as a general, he was going to lead from the front, and when they from the first, in fact, from the day Buhari appointed his ministers, and I didn't see him giving himself Minister of Defense. Rather, I think maybe it was Minister of Petroleum that you always see them telling you Minister of State for Petroleum. They keep that Minister of Petroleum to themselves, and then they appoint Minister of State. What is so important in that petroleum that they don't want to the CNC. They say that the commander-in-chief. So commander-in-chief, announce yourself a minister of defense so that you can lead from the front or give that insecurity a priority, for God's sake. We need security to return back to our country. And who are the people who are supposed to take leadership position? The president needs to take that charge, that responsibility. Buhari was a general. And throughout the 8 years of Buhari, we didn't see any significant change. And that's the problem we find ourselves today.
All right.
So when we talk about insecurity, the social injustice in our society can also be a recipe to that.
All right.
A situation where
we're totally out of time. Just 30 seconds.
A situation where we have. Sorry?
You just have 30 seconds so you can wind down. Yes.
Okay, a situation where we're in a country where religion and ethnicity sentiment is taking control of political and democratic, movement. Then, of course, the country is bound to have this kind of problem. When we don't talk about competence anymore, we don't talk about realism anymore. We only talk about the next election. We do not think about next generation. What most of our leaders do today, they think about the next election. Don't be surprised. Some people are already, planning, gearing towards what will 2027 be. How can they win 2027?
Yeah, that's
so much issues.
We're totally out of time, but that's what we see politicians do. Spend a lot of time thinking about the next election.
No, when you say politicians, I think there is a need to have a distinction. You need to distinguish between.
Are you not a politician? Bishop Amakri, are you not a politician?
No, I am a politician, but like I said, in every given time, you are also a journalist.
Yes.
And there are credible journalists and there are other journalists. So I will not equate you. I will not equal you with these other persons that I know.
I totally understand. So the rule is simple. When it comes to being a politician in Nigeria, it reverses our laws. In the law, you're innocent until proven guilty. But when it's politicians, you're guilty and you prove that you're innocent.
Yeah, I'm a politician. I'm a politician, but I align myself with the transformational ideological kind of politician. I'm not a transactional politician.
When you show working, so that's how we are
between transactional politician and transformational politicians.
No problem. Mr. Bishop Amakri, we must thank you so much for coming. So we always say distinguish yourself and then people can see differently. Bishop Amakri Emmanuel is the national chairman of the Young Progressives Party. The party got 2 local government seats in the, I think, Abia State local government elections. Congratulations on that one as well. Thank you for coming on the program, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here, always.
All right, absolutely. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time to talk about Channels TV's Fund It Forward. What is it really all about? For those of you who have never heard about it, in case you did not watch or you did not know, today we'll break it down for you, what it is, and perhaps how you can be part of it. Join us again.